Hi, this is David White from Sportsman's Emporium, and today I'm going to do a little lesson on making your own indicator with yarn or almost any yarn-like fly tying material. You know, strike indicators are basically used almost in the manner of a bobber for fly fishermen. You know, it's almost like the same concept as a bobber for bait fishermen, in the way that when a fish bites your fly, you know, your strike indicator will either sink or move, and that indicates that you're getting a bite, and you set the hook. Well, there's all different kinds of strike indicators. They're made out of foam and plastic and yarn and synthetic materials, and sometimes, you know, they can be hard to get. They sell out pretty quick, you know, at shops like ours. And you know, this is also a relatively new phenomenon in the fly fishing world. Really, in about the last 10 years, strike indicators have become very widely used and common. When I grew up as a kid fly fishing, you know, you couldn't buy a strike indicator. You had to make your own and just sort of makeshift with what you had. So I'm going to show and give a little lesson on how to make and tie in a strike indicator in the right way, and just use any old yarn. This is egg yarn from my fly tying kit. You know, this stuff, most people who tie flies have something like this laying around. You can use an old shoestring. I mean, you can use a little piece of rope that you'd kind of brush out, and just something that is fibery and fairly long that you can cut into sections. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut just a couple inches off of this yarn, and just keep it like that. I'm going to twist it up a little bit so that it has a nice fold, you know, it's nice and cylinder shaped here. So what I'm going to do to tie this in is I'm going to pretend like this backing is my fly leader. I'm using the backing so that it shows up better on camera, and I'm going to teach you a really easy way to tie this in where it'll float your line and it won't kink your line really bad. And you can easily put one in and take it out. So basically what you do is you make a regular half hitch knot, and I'm going to make this like that. You just make your half hitch knot really easy. Then what you do is you take one of your tag ends and you pull that through the loop in your half hitch knot, and pull that tag end through. Once that starts to shrink, that's when you want to put your yarn in there. And basically, once you get your yarn in there, you want to pull tight. Basically, pull this thing tight. Like I say, I'm using backing instead of a leader. But once you pull it tight, it'll cinch down really good, and it holds this stuff in there good. And it's easy to pull the stuff out once you want to get it out. It'll come out really easy when it's in your monofilament. But once you get that tied, you know, you just got to put this thing together and pull out some of the fuzzies and just kind of mix it together and make a little mop looking thing. Now this right here, when you cast your fly, will float while your fly sinks. And when this thing is floating down the stream and you see it sink under the water, then you know you have a bite.